Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault, a tower defense-esque game from Insomniac. With us today is Synyster Dreamer. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing amazing, and we have a special reviewer here today because Impressions forgot to get this game because he thought we were doing Far Cry today, but we're doing that next week. Is Lizzie Manan. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. That's always good. Okay, so Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault is not part of the main Ratchet and Clank series. It is a very major spin-off and a first for the series. It's a tower defense game. How'd you guys feel about that?
Yeah, which is kind of weird for the game series considering the fact that it's like based around, okay, you go around shooting, smacking things.
It's also very strange for a tower defense game.
Yeah, I didn't. When I first heard about this game, I didn't know it was tower defense. I thought it was just another, normal Ratchet and Clank game. I've only played one of them, but when I got, finally got the game and released before prior, and like, oh yeah, it's a tower defense game. Like, I was kind of like, okay, let's see how it works. For me personally, I thought it worked okay. I don't know. This was really hard for me to play. What about you guys? Synyster?
It's kind of just, I don't know how to explain it because it was just like, okay, jump in, okay, lay out turrets, lay out mines, go smack things, go get, money to build more. Pretty much self-explanatory. Go out, kill the enemy, come back to base, build up your base, go out, defend your base.
Right, then attack theirs.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Lizzie?
Maybe it's time to get some new defenses.
For a tower defense game, I didn't rely a whole lot on your towers. I've played a lot of tower defense games, and this one is definitely not normal.
Yeah, I mean, most people are with tower defense. I mean, the first game that comes to mind is League of Legends. I mean, that and Dota, I think, are the two most daunting tower defense games on the market. And for Ratchet and Clank, I mean, it had not only, technically, I would say it's kind of competing with those two, but, it has to be able to stand out on its own. And it does have a unique system on how it works, but yeah, it felt more like a, you built the defenses, but the defenses were more just to kind of delay them until you got back to base.
Well, that's even if the defenses even lasted long enough.
Yeah, the defenses were super weak, and they tried to mix like the assault kind of tower defense of LOL and Dota, while also get kind of like dungeon defenders where you have to build the towers and have the towers fight off as well. But like Synyster said, the towers died within like 3-4 hits. They were almost useless. So, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, in fact, I know on at least the third map of the game, they introduced the bomb guys. And as soon as those guys showed up, yeah, the towers kind of felt useless because I would build them and go, yes, I have my things. And then the bomb guy would show up. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to hurry and go get him before he gets near my towers. Because if they got near the towers and it exploded, I lost both my towers, like all my towers. So I was like, what's the point of building towers if I'm just going to instantly lose them on that one? So I thought the towers should have been a little bit more, beefier than what they were.
The only thing that was really worth building were the mines that slowed them down. That was about it. The 300 bolts to build the slowing mines. They're easy. They don't cost a lot to replace. They do exactly what they say they're supposed to do, and it gives you just that little bit more time to jump back and forth between the lanes.
Yeah, I found that most useful item. I also used the second upgrade tower, but the mines, yeah, I mean, like I said, most of the time it's like, oh, your base is going to be under attack. I'm like, okay, I got to go back to base. It's like, I couldn't just leave my base alone. Like, I don't know, I feel like in a tower defense game, like, I understand you having to go back, but, once I had, 5-6 towers on a lane, I figured, okay, that lane should be good. It should take a little bit longer for them to take one down and then get to my base, but instead they still just kind of steamroll through. And I don't think that was a very good mechanic on their part.
Yeah, because it seemed like you needed to be playing more or less like with it, because the nice thing with this one, they actually had same system, local multiplayer where you can play, you know, with someone else. Like me and Lizzie, we both played together, and it kind of did help a little bit because of the fact that, you know, you could spread out a little more without having to, okay, well, I can go out, do whatever, come back, you know, beef up my base, then try to go out again and come back.
Yeah, I did feel that if you were playing a multiplayer, you did have kind of one defend, one go out and collect, and I thought that worked well. But for the single player campaign, at least, it didn't work as well. Lizzie, you?
The game was definitely built for multiplayer, and I mean, if you really, really want a hard game, then play it single player. But because it was built for you to have a second person with you.
Yeah. I think that's why the towers were so weak, is I think you are supposed to have kind of one defender, one attacker, and then one collector, because you can have up to 3 people on a team, right?
Local story, you can, for just playing it was 2. I don't know if the actual online multiplayer, you could actually have 3, which never got a chance to get to that, so.
Yeah, neither did I, but I've lost interest in this game, but I don't know, it didn't hold my attention. Now, the only thing that I did like about the game, I did like the weapons. It's Ratchet and Clank, so the weapons have always been kind of cool.
Yeah, they've always been that weird, but kind of like funny, because it's like, okay, flamethrower. Well, I think, you know, annihilates everything, considering I think me and Lizzie used that like 90% of the time. Then you had your freeze ray or plasma bomb or whatever you can think of is pretty much they had in the game.
I like my disco ball. Did you guys get the disco ball?
No, I don't think we got that far into the game.
Yeah, on the 3rd level they introduced the disco ball. That thing's awesome. Yeah, you throw it out and then whatever's nearest starts dancing. It's pretty funny. But yeah, the weaponry was really the only thing I liked about the game. Lizzie, how about you on weapons?
The weapons were interesting. Like Synyster said, we sat there and spammed the incinerator for most of the time. That thing was overpowered. And then you had some that were. There was one in particular that was kind of useless. Mostly because I couldn't figure. Maybe it's because I just couldn't figure out how to get it to like work right. But the Thundercaller one.
Oh, that's an AoE. You put it down and then whatever walks near it gets hit.
I know, but like I would aim it, so the little circle is where I would want it, and then I would let go of the button or whatever. And then it seemed like sometimes it would want to lay it down, and other times it would use up my ammo, but not lay down the actual weapon.
Yeah, I think the most... I did avoid that weapon at all costs, because I didn't like it. I think the only weapons I always had is I always got the pistol that once it was upgraded to level 3 shot like 5 bolts at a time and only cost 1 ammo. That thing was awesome. I did use the incinerator a lot. That thing was pretty overpowered. And then Mr. Zorkron? Is that his name?
Nice. Time to upgrade our
I
defenses.
do believe so. I can't remember. I think it's Mr. I call him Mr. Z, the little personal robot that helps fight with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Zorkron. People in the comments correct me. I forget his name, but he's one of my favorite characters. I don't know why I always forget his name. But he's awesome. I just like having him around just for his comments. I always like having comic relief with me when I'm fighting things. So with that, like I said, there's not a whole lot to talk about on this one. It's a very, very simplistic tower defense game. It's not getting too much around it. What did you guys think of the campaign story mode? Like the actual storyline behind it?
Of what I played of Ratchet and Clank and knowing a little of it, it's kind of just a fun little side jaunt into the story.
Lizzie?
I didn't really pay any attention to it since I was called into this last minute. It seemed kind of weak, but I like I said, I didn't really pay attention to the story from what I played. I just wanted to hurry, get through, feel the controls, and move on with my life.
Yeah, the story was kind of weak. I mean, once again, it's a spin-off game. I think the story was in there just for a little bit of comedy. It doesn't really have to do anything. other than it does kind of have a nice little throwback to, I think, one of the older games with the villain. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I think this game was definitely built for a multiplayer kind of experience, and I think that's what they were going for. So with that, we're going to end this one, just because, like I said, there's not a whole lot to talk about with it. We're going to give our reviews of pass, rent, or buy. In this case, buy is a $30 game, so we're basing it off of that. So we'll start with our guest, Lizzie. Did you buy, rent, or pass?
You know, even if I really like tower defense games, I probably wouldn't buy this game. I'm gonna have to go with rent if you just want to kind of mess around with the tower defense. If you don't care for LOL or Dota, don't pick it up at all.
Synyster.
I actually have to say pass, because it's honestly, even playing Ratchet and Clank, it's fun, but honestly, why waste $30 to do this, or even waste really any money to rent it? It's kind of boring in my case.
Yeah, I'm in that same category. I have to go with a pass. I just couldn't get into it. I mean, I do like tower defense to some extent, but I just don't think that... I mean, it's not a... I wouldn't say a bad game. It's just not a full game, I guess you would say. I mean, it's just... It's more of a prototype maybe later, but it's just not worth picking up at this point in time. So I have to say pass. I just want to bother with it. So there you have it. You have a sort of rent from Lizzie, a pass from Synyster, and myself, Roy. And with that, we're gonna call it. Thanks for listening. Next week will be Far Cry 2, or Far Cry 3, like I said earlier. We'll have impressions for that one, because he knows we're doing that one. Thank you, Lizzie, for filling in kind of last minute.
You're welcome.
Thanks. And make sure to subscribe to our videos up top. Like us on Facebook, and check out the written reviews that will be up. And thanks for watching and listening. Take it easy, everybody.